Critics question a decision by the Atlanta VA Medical Center for how it transports veterans, claiming the VA could be putting lives at risk, especially during this vulnerable time.
The VA gave Metro Health EMS control over all non-emergency ambulance services after deciding the company qualified, even though it doesn't have a Georgia license to be in the ambulance business.
Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis did some digging. He's here now with what he discovered. Randy?
Tom and Courtney, the $1.5 million a year contract is with Western Star Hospital Authority, the parent company of Metro Health EMS. The chief operating officer is currently the subject of a complaint to state regulators, accusing the company of, quote, putting the lives of our veterans in harm's way. Hang around the Atlanta VA Medical Center like we did, and you can't miss the Metro Health EMS vans. When we began watching in December, some of the vans had missing hubcaps, rusty wheel wells, mismatched paint schemes. These are the stretcher vans you paid to get veterans back and forth to the hospital for doctor's visits or dialysis. But that's just the view from the outside. Do you feel like you're in an ambulance?
No, I don't. I feel like I'm in a U-Haul van.
He asked us not to show his face for fear the company might not like his criticism. Paralyzed from the waist down, he and his wife said the Metro Health EMS vans were so bumpy, he once became violently sick.
He upchucked over everything because of the movement. It was such gyrations going on with the ride, and I was like, can you help me? And they were looking at me like, you need to take care of this.
What if you had some sort of medical incident on the way to the hospital? Would they be able to take care of you?
I would just hope that they can speed it up. just hit the gas.
Just hit the gas. Because under Georgia law, Metro Health EMS cannot provide medical services. They're not a licensed ambulance company in the state of Georgia. They can only transport patients by stretcher vans who need minimal medical assistance. Well, this right here is a typical stretcher van in the business. And this right here, well, this is your typical ambulance. So how in the world did Metro Health get an ambulance contract? Metro Health promised the VA it would bring in a separate ambulance service whenever it needed to transport those medically needy veterans. A company actually licensed to provide services like oxygen or run IVs. That makes no sense to this man.
I've not seen that before.
Keith Wage is recently retired as Georgia's EMS director, the department that licenses ambulance companies. You would have liked the VA to require that the contractor be licensed?
As an ambulance, yeah. And in Georgia, there's not a shortage of high-quality ambulance services that provide that non-911 service.
Under the contract, Metro Health is supposed to call that ambulance company when the VA gives notice of a medically needy patient. Remember, Metro Health has to pay the ambulance company for those trips, but it keeps all the money if the patient goes by stretcher van. The arrangement has already led to a state investigation.
If they're transporting patients as if it was an ambulance, that is something that we consider pretty serious if they're not licensed by us.
One of those ambulance companies worked only a few weeks for Metro Health before filing this complaint with the Georgia Department of Public Health. It accused Metro Health of running those ambulance trips itself instead of paying the subcontractor, putting the lives of our veterans in harm's way. And the complaint names this man, Metro Health's Chief Operating Officer Brian Doyle, of practicing as a paramedic when he's not licensed in the state of Georgia.
I'm not on a truck at all.
You've been on a truck before.
Well, I ride on the non-emergency trucks, but I haven't been on a truck in weeks, months.
The complaint says Metro Health is actually transporting patients that require ventilators and on IV medications. You've got to be an ambulance to do that. Have you actually performed any services for patients that would have required you be licensed?
No, not at all.
But we wondered this. Some veterans may need oxygen on their way to the hospital. One reason every ambulance is required to carry oxygen tanks on board. But the state says you can only buy or dispense oxygen if you're a licensed ambulance provider.
When I see an oxygen tank at the back of the vehicle,
we show the state what we saw inside some of those Metro Health stretcher vans. Oxygen tanks strapped on the wall. A worker moving tanks from one van to the other. This veteran says Metro Health always had an oxygen tank in the van for his trips.
It just kind of rolled loose inside of a little shelf.
How are you guys getting oxygen if you don't have a license
I'm
to be an
not sure
ambulance
about
service?
that.
He suggested some of the tanks we saw could have been brought on board by the patients themselves. We talked in front of a stretcher van parked at the office. I'm just wondering if we can see any oxygen back there. Oh yeah, there's oxygen right here. Mr. Doyle, there's oxygen in the back of this van right now. Doyle had no explanation for that.
There always is a time crunch when there's a situation like the coronavirus is now. Even during the current situation, right, we want to make sure not only that our patients are safe that are being transported, but that the crews are properly trained.
Would you like to know how he's getting the oxygen if he's not licensed?
Yeah, if I was the VA, I would.
I mean, you can't say I don't need to be licensed, and yet you're getting things that you have to have a license to get.
Right, right. And the resolution is quite simple, just utilize a licensed service, and then all of those questions go away.
So you may be wondering what the VA thinks of our findings. So do we. They would not comment about complaints or why Metro Health is carrying oxygen tanks when it's not licensed. The VA did tell us how many coronavirus cases they have in Atlanta. 2 presumptive positives so far. Both are being home quarantined. Tom and Courtney?
All right, Brandy, thanks.